I should go in there and clear it right there, man. I never have to clear it. Well, maybe not to do it.
My check.
Are you fine right now?
I'm on a bit right now. It's 12 o'clock.
I thought you said 2.
12.
Yeah,
All right, my boy.
Yeah.
My check. Yo, if you're on YouTube, can you please put something in the chat to make sure that you hear me well? You see my chart?
Their interviews for a show and tell session.
Hold on, right quick. Make sure everything working. Robert, what it do, my G? You hear me well? Everything good? You see my screen? My check. Oh yeah, we good.
My check.
All right. What it do? What it does? Hold on, right quick. I'm about to go live on IG right quick. Fuck it. We going live. Live back testing MQ. We going live on them folks. All right. Live on YouTube at Casino Trades. All right. Let me pin the comment. Alrighty then. All right. Hey, babe, do me a favor, go on my YouTube, go on my Instagram right quick. Matter of fact, don't worry about it. I have to do it. Oh yeah, I'm not. My check. Hey, babe, do me a favor, go on my YouTube right quick. Be lit. All right, so we're gonna start this off with looking at Friday's action because Friday is literally already on the screen. Right, great day. All right, so the left of the chart is going to be a 5-minute chart. And then the right of it is going to be a 1 minute. So we're going to go into what happened on Friday and what happened, how I found the levels, what I was looking at, all of those things. All right, so if we pay our attention, so matter of fact, I'm going to delete everything. And we're going to literally walk it down. So if you got any questions, just type it into the YouTube and I'll answer it as I see it. Okay, so let's just start on the higher time frame. I go to a weekly, show you how I found some of the songs. All right, we go to a weekly time frame. First thing you want to do in the morning, right? The first thing you want to do in the morning is go to a weekly time frame or a daily time frame, right? You always want to start off on a higher time frame chart. You want to start off on a higher time frame chart to get the direction, right? You see that we're bullish, right? Okay, we already understand that we're bullish. Now I'm looking for it. Why are we bullish? Because you see we're making higher highs and higher lows. You see just going up and up and up and up and up. And this is on a weekly time frame. So what do I first thing I'm look for is the PV arrays, right? Which is certain PV arrays, which are fair value gaps, order blocks, anything like that, liquidity. So that's near price. Right now, price is literally right here. So before this day happened, price was right here, right? So I see I have this fair value gap and I have this liquidity right here, this low right here. All right, so I'm gonna draw that. All right, so this is the first PD array that I have, and it's a BISI, right? And it's a weekly. Weekly BISI. All right, let's keep it at the top. All right, what else do I have here, right? I had this low that was right here. So don't worry about this red candle, right? We have this low right here, which is sell side. So we have a inefficiency that has a liquidity zone right here, which is that low on a weekly time frame. Now I'll go down to a daily. So I'll make this zone a little bit lighter so you can really see. All right. So if you see, now we're on a daily time frame, right? And look, what else do we have right here? We have another low. Did everybody see that other low? We have another low right there. So we have this weekly low, and then we have another low. So we have two sell side zones right there. And remember, don't worry about this. We have this low here. So we have so much sell side. Right? So y'all see all the liquidity zones here. This is the first thing I use. This is how you find your trade, how to actually do everything. So now, excuse me. So now that I got my zone, my higher time frame zones, I see that we're bullish. I see that. So I'm looking for a sweep of this zone before I do anything, right? Because the way we trade, no sweep, no trade. Right? Now we go right down to a lower time frame. Now let's bring it all to shit. That's the wrong thing. And let's bring it all together. Bring it all together. All right. All right. So now, look at the lows was here, right? All of the lows was here. Where it's already on the line. I gotta draw. I gotta look for it for you. So remember, 9:30. Sorry, not 9:30. So on the day, the market opened up right here. So before the market opened, we did not take out that low yet, right? So before the market opened up here, this low was in, these lows are still intact. But what else we have right here? Look how it comes and stops right there. And then that liquidity zone. Right? So that's another low in pre-market. Another low. Boom. So remember what I always say, in order for the market to go, so now that I have my where I'm aiming for to go down, right? Because remember, because of course I'm bullish. We have all of these buy side liquidity zones up there, right? So of course I'm targeting up there. But in order for it to go up, I want to see it go down first, right? And manipulate the market. And which is fake out. It's going to fake out the people who think it's going to go down, right? And we have these lows here. So we have these three liquidity zones right here. This low, and then this low. So look what happens. Market opens up here. It goes down. So look what happened. We swept out all of the lows that I was anticipating. Boom. All of the lows. So now we are here at 9:50. We're here. We're in the market open at 9. What time is this? 9:40. 10 minutes into the market open, right? So now let me delete this zone. So y'all see that it's holding that weekly fair value gap. So I delete it so y'all can really see what I'm looking at. So now that we swept this zone, what are we targeting, right? We want to target the buy side liquidity, right? So you have this, you have these relative equal highs here, and delete this zone. And you have this high up here. Boom. This will be our draw on liquidity, like what I'm targeting, my TP. So before that, we're going to look for the 8:30 open and the midnight. So midnight opening is right here. Midnight open. And now I'm looking for the 8:30 open. Like I I said, this is what I do every single morning before the market opens. This is how I start my day. 8:30 open right there. Boom. All right. So what do we have here? So we have it. You have the market sweeping into that weekly fair value gap, sweeping out all of those lows, right? It did the fake out, right? We already wanted, remember, if we wanted to go higher, you want to see it go lower first. That happened, right? Remember, because the market got to do 4 things at all times, which is generate liquidity. That's how it generated those highs. And then it hunted the liquidity, which was those lows it just swept, right? And it has to rebalance into an inefficiency, which was that weekly fair value gap that it rebalanced into. So now that all of those things happen, what's left to happen? To hunt the opposing liquidity zone, to hunt the opposing, the highs. So now we could get into our play. So now we got the sweep into the zone. Now, what do you want to look for? Remember, you want to draw the opposing fair value gap. Once it sweeps, you always look for the opposing fair value gap. So look, there's one right here on the 1 minute. So let's focus on the 5. I usually go to the 5 minute first. Look at the fair value gap right here. So until we get above this zone, we're not extremely bullish, right? So this is a SIBI right here. So if you go to a 1 minute, we're looking at the 1 minute to find the bullish order flow, right? So first you want to look at same thing, look for the opposing fair value gap, right? On the 5 minute, the first fair value gap is here. But on the 1 minute, the first fair value gap is here, right? So let's draw it. And this, we want to see it as an inverse fair value gap. So right now it's a SIBI, right? It's a bearish fair value gap. Sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. And now remember, once we get above it here, you want to see it come back and retest this first SIBI to be used as an inverse fair value gap. So we're going to use this same bearish fair value gap. Once we get above it, you want to treat it as the opposite, to be an inverse. So when it retests it, you're expecting it to go up, right? So the first thing we have is that we have this inverse for a bullish. So we're looking for bullish order flow, bullish things to align, right? So we have, the first thing we have is that bullish. That inverse. First thing. Now, what else do we have here, right? We have a order block right here. Because remember, order block is when you have a down close candle, which is a bearish candle, and it closes above. You see how you got that aggressive close above, right? It's kind of like an engulfing pattern, right? For my retail traders. So this is an order block. Down close candle, it closed above. Boom, order block. So now I usually draw the most sensitive part of the order block, which is from the opening price to the top wick. There, and I notate it as OB's wick. So now we have 2 bullish things, right? We have the inverse fair value gap, and we have the order block. The order block, right? Which is the most sensitive part is the wick. So now we're looking for a retest to make sure that these things are actually being respected. But you see on a 5 minute here, we still didn't get above it. So once we get above this zone, now we're getting above. Now we're disrespecting the 5 minute bullish things, bearish things, which is good. So what do we get? The market comes up, hits the 5 minute SIBI, then it comes down, right? Look what it comes down into. It comes down right into the order block, right? It do not come into the inverse value gap. As you see that, you see it never came into the inverse value gap. It stopped right at the top of the wick of the order block. And then what it did, rallied, boom, and closed above the 5 minute SIBI, right? So that could have been your first entry. That was the entry that I missed. I missed that entry. Right? I missed that entry. So you could have gotten there. Because you see how I respect the order block? It respected the inverse, and it aggressively closed above the 5 minute. So that's when you could have kind of like front ran it Soon it closed, you could have got into it, or once it closed up here, I'd rather be more patient because it's still at this 5-minute zone. But once it got above, you could have got in here because you already seen all of the bullish order flow down here that got respected, right? So you could have put your stop loss below this order block, or just put it below the CB, the 5-minute CB here. And now let's see what happens. It runs. So let's delete that zone. You see that it ran. So now it runs. Boom. It runs all the way to here. So that's about, oh my God, look how much points that is you could have caught. So let's do it right quick. Let's do it. Let's see how much points you could have caught. We would have been long above the 5-minute CB here. From here to here. Look at that. That's 100, just right to the 830 open. That's 128 points. Literally, if your stop loss been right here, risking 40 points. Look at that. That's a lovely trade, right? But I didn't catch that trade. So let's break it down. Before that happened, so this, I was waiting on a retest, right? So let's break it down. This is why I didn't catch that trade. So I was waiting on a retest here to go up higher, right? We never got that because we were just extremely bullish. But what did we get? Look at the PD raise. Look at the fair value gap right here. You have a bullish fair value gap right here. So this should have been my entry, but the problem is I didn't get into it here because I would have had to put my stop loss down here, because if I would have got into here, I don't know that it would have respected it, right? I'm not sure that it would have respected it. I would have to let order flow happen to see. So putting my stop loss liquidity right here, knowing if it disrespect this busy, it could come down to here. So I wasn't willing to put my stop loss down here. So I was expecting and anticipating it to come into the 5-minute fair value gap to retest it, but it never did. It retested the bullish fair value gap and then it ran. And this is what I mean about the science of bullish order flow. Look how it's staying in the upper half. So look how when it retests here, it just touches it and it runs away. It don't even have the willingness to come to the inverse fair value gap. That's a sign of bullish order flow. Staying in the upper half. Oh, I didn't even see that. Look at that. And this is an order block. Look at the order block. Now that we're above this down closed candle, so you see how we have the down closed candles here, and then we get above it here. So you see how we closed above here? That's another order block. And it looked like it retested that. Look how it retested that. So it gave me chances. It gave me chances to get in, but I just didn't see all of these things at once. Look at the order block. You see how it came down, retested, and then it got up out of there. Cool. This fair value gap right here, didn't trust it. But like Don said, look at the other fair value gap that was right here, that was coupled. Right here. I'll make that zone. Make the zone blue. Look how it retests that though. So when it closed above, it retested the 1-minute CB coupled with that 5-minute inverse fair value gap. So this could have been my play also, but I didn't see that. And then it ran. Boom. So look at all the plays you could have caught. And then right here, look at the order, look at the fair value gap right here. Look how it running, create the fair value gap, generate liquidity, come into the fair value gap. Look how it stays in the upper part of the fair value gap, sweeping out this small internal into a key PD rate. And we're above the opening price. We're above the 830. So we're going to use the 830 as support. Look how it runs. Look how it creates the order block. Remember, you got 2 down closed candles with the close above, Order block. Remember, the best order blocks has a fair value gap in it. Look how it respects the opening price of the opening wick. Look how it respects the OB's wick. Sweep, internal sweep into the PDRA, which is the fair value gap. Look how it's in the upper half. They don't have the willingness to get to the 830 open. They don't have the willingness to get to the lower half. Those are all signs of bullish order flow, right? It's all signs of bullish order flow. Comes up, retested the order blocks wick, and look what it do. Rallies, come right back to it again, rallies again. See what I'm saying? So look how it uses it again. It just keeps using it. Y'all see that? And then now let's get into the other best play we could have caught. Because now that it's just going up and up and up and up. Remember, the market just cannot go up and up and up and up. The market has to do 4 things at all times, right? It has to generate the liquidity, which is going to create the highs and lows. Then it's going to hunt the liquidity, the highs and lows that it just got created. And then it has to pull back to an inefficiency, which is a fair value gap, or it's going to pull back to equilibrium of a range. So if I draw a fib from this low to the high right here where it was at before it retraced, look how close it gets to equilibrium. Equilibrium is the 50% from high to low. Look up 50% is right here. Look how close it gets. Remember what I said? You want to see the 830 open hold as support. Look what the 830 open at right here. Look what it do. Touch the 830 open, and then it goes higher. So it used the 830 open. So what I'm trying to tell you that it didn't get to equilibrium, 50% of the range, because it's extremely bullish. It just used the 830 open because it went close. See what I'm saying? And now we can get into the main play, which is, remember, it has to pull back to what? An inefficiency also. Look at the inefficiency it pulled back to. Look at the fair value gap right here. Right. Look at the fair value gap right here. See the fair value gap? Remember, the market has to generate liquidity, which is right now it generated these highs. Make it big right quick. It's going to generate the highs on the way down, right? And then as it's going up, it's going to create the lows. So it's going to generate the highs and lows, right? And then what it's going to do is going to hunt the liquidity. So right now it's hunting the lows because it wants to go higher. So it's always going to do the fake out. It's always going, if you want to go higher, it's going to go lower first, right? Sweeping out. That's why we say no sweep, no trades. So look how it sweeps out all of the lows into a PD array, which is this fair value gap. And which is, remember, the market got to generate liquidity, then they got to hunt liquidity, and it's going to pull back to equilibrium. Remember, we already saw equilibrium was right here near the 830 open, and that's going to pull back to an inefficiency, which is a fair value gap or a PD array, right? So look at the play that happened here. So this is a bullish breaker. So if you look at the bullish breaker, we have a low, high, lower low, higher high. So once it comes back to the bullish breaker, see that? We want to see it go. So the bullish breaker is the last bullish candle in that leg. And this is so perfect because it's coupled with 830. It's coupled with the 830 open. So these, what I mean about A+ setups, right? It's always going to be coupled with something. He said, "Are you still in Tremaine Discord member?" Yeah, I'm in Tremaine shit. You damn right I'm in Tremaine shit. But I don't watch his lives no more because I kind of like trade on my own now because he taught me. I basically learned. I ain't gonna say everything, but I learned a lot from him. So yes, I'm in this lifetime community, so I'm gonna always be a student of his. So what I do is I don't trade with him live. I trade myself, and then at nighttime when I come home, I'll watch his trades and I see, oh, what was he thinking? Because if we were thinking the same thing, that's a win for me. But if I wasn't thinking what he was thinking, now I get a chance to go back and look and study, okay, what he was thinking about, what was the difference? So I'm saying, so I'm a forever student of Tremaine for shit show. So we got the Buddhist breaker here. Buddhist breaker. So we got the Buddhist breaker, the fair value gap. So now that we remember we're bullish, we just created all of this. We just created all of this buy side liquidity. And remember, we swept out the sell side liquidity. So we generated the highs and then hunted the lows. We pulled back to equilibrium, which is 50% of the range. We got close to it. And we pulled back to an inefficiency, which is that fair value gap, which is that Buddhist breaker. And now look at the order flow. Look at the order flow into that Buddhist breaker. Look how we generate. We come into the Buddhist breaker, we come up, we generate. This is called accumulation. Now we get the AMD model, right? We get the AMD model. You get the accumulation, which is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then look how we sweep out the low. You see how we sweep out these lows right here into a PD array? Now we get the accumulation, manipulation for the retail traders. Then it's going to go lower because they see that we're making lower highs and lower lows. They think they're going to go lower. That's why we don't trade retail concepts. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And then look how it retests. And this is why I call my play right here. So now we can get into my play. The play that y'all see that I posted on Instagram that I lost. Now we get into my play. Remember, no sweep, no trade. So we get the sweep here into the PD array. And now, what do Don always say, right? Don always says you want to see a sweep and an immediate disrespect of the opposing fair value gap. Look at the opposing fair value gap. Remember, once you see the sweep, you want to hurry up and look for a fair value gap that's in that leg. Look at it right here. So that's the fair value gap here. Boom. And remember, the same thing. Once we get above that fair value gap, you want to see it come. Use it as an inverse fair value gap. So now this was once a bearish fair value gap, but now this is an inverse fair value gap. And then what happened? And then what else we created? We created a bullish fair value gap here also. Remember, a bullish fair value gap is when you got a 3 candlestick pattern, 1, 2, 3, to where the first wick and the third wick do not touch. And it leaves a gap. Look what happens. We run. We create an order block. Look how it runs. So now we got an order block right here. So you see, it never retested. Wait, I'm gonna draw in a second. You got the order block here. Boom. Remember, an order block is when you have a down closed candle here, and then you see how it closes above here. Order block. This is how I draw it out. I extend it through, and you see how came down, sweep, disrespect the inverse fair value gap, create the bullish, and then it creates a bullish fair value gap. Down closed candle, runs up, creates an order block here. Look how it comes down and retests the order block, and then goes up. So I lost my trade. So now we had a fair value gap right here. So this is where I lost my trade at. When this happened down here, when this closed, I knew it was going to go. So the moment we closed right here, I went long. Boom. If you watch the video, my stop loss lady right here, and I'm targeting these highs. I'm in 3 contracts, so I was literally going to get out of 1 and then hold the rest for all that good money. So you see, once we got, I deleted the wrong shit. Got in here. So once we actually got above this zone, wait, no, let me do it different. Once we got above this zone, remember, I'm expecting that you see how it's this fair value gap right here taking us lower, right? Look how we're going lower. We're going lower. So fair value gap, look how it's taking us lower. So it's a bearish fair value gap, going lower, going lower, going lower. Once we get above it, same thing. You want it to be used as an inverse fair value gap. Then you see how we come into it. So once we came into it, I brought my stop loss right here. And then when it came down, that shit came down and whipped me out. And it came down again, and then it ran. So key point, once I moved my stop, so once we got above here, I brought my stop loss here. And this is what I mean. The wicks do the damage, but the bodies tell the story. Look at the wicks. The wicks are where? The wicks are all down here. And what is it doing? It's doing the damage. It's stopping niggas out like me, who too quick to protect the money, who's not patient enough to just wait for it to play out and then move it. I be worrying about the money too much. I don't want to lose all that, because first I was risking I was risking 50 points, and I was in 3 contracts. If I do the math, because I was in 3 contracts, so that's $6 a point, and I'm 60 points times 6, so 60 times 6. I'm risking $360 on this one trade. But I got a good risk to reward, but it's like, damn, that's 360. So I'm looking for any moment where I could just mitigate it, where, okay, you know what? It's at 60 now. I'm going to put it up here. Now I'm only risking 18 points. And 18 points times 6 is 108. 108 sounds much better. But look what happens. I'm worried about the damn 108. Instead of leaving the trade, I'm focusing on the money. Instead of focusing on the candles and what's happening, I moved my stop too early. And then I was at least supposed to put it below the order block. I didn't even do that because I didn't expect it to come down there. So this is what I mean. The wicks, look at the wicks. The wicks are all here doing the damage, stopping niggas out who keep moving their stop loss too quick. But look at the bodies. Not only the bodies is still respecting the inverse value gap, but the bodies is respecting the upper half of it. Look at that. Look at the bodies, G. You cannot tell me that is random. Bro, who the hell trying to go live on IG, bro? You trying to go live, G? Talk to me. My bad, my mic came up. Exactly. You clicking trying to go live, and then when I accept you, you get off. Yeah. So you see how the bodies, it's respecting the upper half, but look at the wicks. The wicks is doing the damage, but the bodies is telling the story. And then I got stopped out. And look at that. Look how far it ran for. Whoa. So this was my TP1. TP1. TP2. TP3. And then remember what I always say, midnight open. Look how it hit the midnight open. Remember, midnight open is here. Look at that. Good money. How much money would have been? 160 points. Shit get crazy, dog. You know what I'm saying? And then look, it ran for much further. So I would have ate good. But all I did was I got stopped out way down here. And y'all saw how I actually was supposed to catch this trade. So imagine I would have caught this one. Look at I already broke that down. No point in me breaking that down again. But look how you could have literally caught the whole play and just let that pick ride all day from here. Boom. Look at that. You could have caught that shit all. You could have caught that motherfucker. You could have been in the trade all day. Yeah, man. So, how long are we going for? 35 minutes. Any questions? Babe, you get that thing started for your boy, please. I'm gonna get off this shit. All right, so I recorded it for my members who can't come here today. So hopefully you can go back and watch it. I hope I did a good job of breaking down Friday's price action. And I was going to do Thursday's price action too, which was here. But I'm gonna do it later on. I'm gonna wait till Don get off of work and I'm gonna do it with Don. So I just did it. So this is just the first part of the Saturday. This is just the first part of the Saturday study session. But what I advise y'all to do is to replay this video, right? And learn the concepts. Look at so matter of fact, let's draw all the fair value gaps right quick. And all the order blocks. And you can see, because I'll put this for Shay. This is for Shay right here. So the first thing, remember we got a sweep. I already did a sweep. So we're gonna look for the fair value gap here. Right here. So this is the first thing. Boom. Once we get above, this is a bearish fair value gap. As long as we're underneath it, we're bearish. When we get above it, we're bullish. I want to see if it uses as an inverse fair value gap to go higher. Right? So you got this inverse here. And you got this bullish fair value gap here. This is all 5-minute things. You have this bullish fair value gap here. You have this bullish fair value gap here. Right? And remember, you look at the order block. Remember, we're above. You have all of these down closed candles. Once you close above it here, it makes all of this a bearish candle. What I do, I draw from the most sensitive part, which is the top wick, all the way to the opening price. And then I extend it through OB's wick. Boom. And look how that shit beats. Look at that shit. Look how I retest that bit. Crazy. But it's all the 5-minute things. So 1-minute thing, what we got? You got, remember, this is a bearish fair value gap. Once we get above it, you want to see if it used as an inverse. So you got the inverse here. You have the order block. This down closed candle closes above, makes this an order block, opening price to the top wick. It's the OB's wick. Look how it comes and respects the order block wick, and it don't get to the inverse. Sign of bullish order flow, comes up again, creates another order block. Remember, most sensitive part is the down close candle. I mean, the top wick to the opening price. Remember, this is an order block because why? It closed above it. Look how it retested it here, goes up. Right here, bullish fair value gap coupled with that 5-minute fair value gap that's drawn already here. Look how I retested it. This is small fair value gap in there. There's no point in me drawing this fair value gap because you see it already. So you have a 5-minute fair value gap that's already there, then it's coupled with this 1-minute fair value gap. You see, remember, signs of bullish order flow. You want to see it stay in the upper half of P raise. So wait, I'm gonna draw that after. Right? Then you got another order block. Why is it an order block? You have two down closed candles here, and it closes above. Mean close above, right? The most sensitive part. So the order block is both down closed candles, right? The order block is literally both of the bearish candles. So if I say this is the order block, it's just the one bearish candle. If this is the order block, it's both. It's whatever that's there. I just draw the most sensitive part, which is from the top wick to the opening price, right? Usually it'll be like I draw fuck around both wicks sometimes. It all depends on how I'm feeling. OB's wick. Remember, it has to generate, pull back to an inefficiency. Generate, pull back to an inefficiency, which is the order block wick. Generate, pull back to an inefficiency. Look how you get the sweep into the key zone. Run, takes the high. And look how it uses it here. Use that bitch here to go up. And now remember, look, same how we use this zone, we use the same zone to go down. So now look how we get the sweep into the key zone. Now look, we generated this high. Generate. We've been going up and up and up and up. We can't just do that. What we're going to do, we have to pull back to inefficiency or to a PD array, or to 50% of the range. Look how we do that. We pull back to this zone right here. We get the accumulation model. Accumulate, manipulate, distribution. What else do we get? We get it's generating lows. Then we get a sweep. Look at the sweep right here into the OB's wick. Yes, it's in the lower half. It's not going to be perfect all the time. But because it's in the lower half, disrespecting this fair value gap here because it's accumulating. So it's just going back and forth until we get that sweep. Boom. Now we get the sweep. What else we looking for? We're looking for a disrespect. Every sweep, we're looking for a disrespect of the opposing fair value gap. Here. Boom. And then we retested it. But look what we get. We get the bullish fair value gap here. And we get the order block here. Boom. Then we just keep creating fair value gaps and order blocks and just keep going up. Fair value gap. Order block. Why is that an order block? Because you have this down closed candle and it closed above. Generate. Runs up. Fair value gap. It just keeps running. You got the order block. Remember, now we're above all of these bearish candles. So you got the opening price. Look how it almost touches it. It almost touches it. But yeah. So let's break this down one time. We generated low, generated high, pull back to inefficiency. Runs up, generated low, it's generated high, pull back to inefficiency. Runs up, right? Keeps running. Generate all those highs, and then what it do? It come down into an inefficiency, sweeping out the lows, and then we do the same thing: accumulation, manipulation, distribution, retest, run. So, and you see, just respected all the fair value gaps all the way up. So I hope I broke this down good for y'all. I went fast towards the end because I got kind of tired. And let's go, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go back, rewind it, take your time. Any questions, join my Discord and we will talk about it. Let's get it.